If you don't like these rules, quit and find another job because you are the reason these rules in place. You are the reason that this organization was successful. You are the reason it grew. You are the reason rules needed to be put in place, not because of your failure, but because of size and the ability to manage it. And if you can't deal with that, leave. Go to another small company, help them get started and grow. Otherwise, shut up and get on board and be part of the next stage of growth and success.
Welcome. Hello, my name's Heath Gascoigne and I'm the host of the Business Transformation Podcast. And in this show is for business transformators who are part business strategists, part business designers, part collaborators, and part negotiators. Business transformators have moved past just business design and includes oversight of implementation of those business designs and business transformations, and includes stakeholder management, coordination, and negotiation. If you work in strategy development and implementation and work to ensure that the strategy is aligned to that business design and technology, then you're probably a business transformator. In this show, we speak to industry experts and professionals to share their stories, strategies, and insights to help you start, grow, and scale your business transformation. Welcome to the Business Transformation Podcast. And in this episode, we are talking to one of those industry experts. We are talking to the one other of Larry Mendelberg. Have I got that right there, Larry?
Close enough.
Okay, thank you very much. And then you are, as I just learnt, although you have a very strong accent, you are not in America. You're currently in Bordeaux in France, and I had been there a couple of years ago. Nice sort of part of the world that. The whole south of France is very nice.
Yes.
Okay, and as you can see there on your background there, on the side of your head, you are a author. The book there is The Businesses Don't Fail, They Commit Suicide. So hopefully we'll get into that. You have your MBA grad, academia alumni. You have many years experience in business and transformation leadership. They include board members and advisors going back, 50 years. Yeah, so we have a veteran here, ladies and gentlemen. We will almost say the GOAT. It's a published author. So thank you for being here, Larry.
My pleasure.
Okay, now, just to kick us off, so to remind everyone, we usually cover the 3 points here. From Larry's perspective, or for our guest perspective, it's usually in terms of the industry where you are currently positioned, the leadership, the change management, in your particular experience and years and years and years of doing what you do, as well as a published author, of what has the industry got right now? What are they doing well? What are they not doing well? There's ongoing argument of the 70% failure rate. Does it exist? Is it true? What have they got right? What have they got wrong? Were they learning, whether not learning, repeated mistakes? Second is, when you're going in with your consulting business, your consulting clients, maybe even your own organization, is there an approach that you use? And if you could, step us through it. And number 3, all this years of experience, if you could do it all again, what would you do differently? Which is really the takeaways. You go, I wouldn't muck around with this one. What a waste of time. I just go straight to the jugular, and this, 80-20 rule kills it every time. Start here. Okay. How's it sound?
Got it.
All right. Okay, so kicks off. Industry. In terms of leadership, I used to poo-poo leadership with when thinking about just leadership in general. I'm thinking leaders are made, so don't worry about it. Or there is what is the role of leadership, particularly where you've come from? They got it right. People are like in some of my projects, I get called in to fix. The sponsor is there. Usually the sponsor's been called in who doesn't really want to be a sponsor, doesn't know what's involved to be the sponsor, doesn't know the roles and responsibilities of being a sponsor. They the token figurehead that needs to turn up and be the champion in a boardroom, and that's about it.
Yeah, let me start by saying that it's both refreshing and energizing to be on your show, Heath.
Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
It's uncommon to find podcasters who have such great focus on the information they're trying to gather and disperse or disseminate. And I really appreciate that. And I think your questions are good, although they're fairly common. You're going to find my answers are very uncommon or obtuse. First of all, when you talk about leadership and right and wrong, it's important to understand what the role of leadership is. And before you can understand that, you have to understand what makes a good leader.
Yes.
And one of the things that I found in my education, my formal education activities, was that there is about 110, 115 years of formal, rigorous academic research into what makes a good leader.
Wow.
And the consensus is nobody knows. That's
Wow.
the only constant finding from over 100 years of research. And the reason, in my opinion, is because leadership is situational. It's contextual.
Yes.
What makes a good leader today is not what makes a good leader tomorrow. And of course, we're all very familiar with Winston Churchill.
Yep.
The man was a terrible leader. But there was one moment in time in the history of the world, we'll call it a brief moment in time, where his skills were uniquely qualified to lead in a way that very few people could. And it was incredibly successful.
Yeah.
He failed before that. He failed after that. So what are leaders doing right and what are leaders doing wrong? What leaders are doing right is understanding their strengths and applying them in those situations, environments, and contexts where they're applicable and relevant and valuable, and they're leaning on others to lead with their guidance and their structure and their strategy when they don't have those skills. So it's as much about knowing when to step up as it is about knowing when to step back. And I will tell you that in my experience, I would say we're in like the third or fourth or fifth sigma of people who get it right, meaning probably less than 7% of the people who get it right.
Okay.
Now that depends on what right means to you.
Yes,
right?
yes.
I mean, right might mean to you making a profit, having a sustainable business, it all depends on what right means to you. But to me, what it means is a successful leader is a leader who has an organization that they lead that is sustainable and consistently delivers value to its market and to all of its stakeholders. Its vendors, its community, its employees, its investors, its customers, that's my measure of a successful leader.
Successful.
Hey, Business Transformation podcast listener, enjoying the episode so far? If you're finding these insights useful, you'll love this. I'm giving you free access to the first 3 chapters of our international bestseller, The Business Transformation Playbook. It's the exact framework used by the UK government and Fortune 500s to design winning transformations. And for the first time, it's available in Spanish with French and Portuguese coming soon. Grab your preview now at hoba.tech/playbook. No strings attached. Now back to the podcast.
All right. Okay. I want to recap a few things there so that I'm busy writing down because you're dropping some gold there, Larry. Okay, I like what you kicked it off from the very beginning where you said one is nobody knows, which I think is saying is, and you just immediately followed up and said it's depends. Depends on the situation. You know, when I did my MBA, and the lecturer would say, you know, everyone's they're learning for the first time, or maybe the postgrad into your master's level, and then the lecturer's dropping all this. They've got the situation, and he goes, which tool would you say? And everyone's throwing out all the tools that they should use or could use, and then he goes, "Do you know what the answer is?" And everyone's still throwing out the names, all the tools and techniques, and he goes, "It depends." And we're going, "What?" And it was. And to your points, and I talk about it when I go into clients and say there's 2 parts of what we're going to do. You can pull out in all the frameworks, but it depends on the context, the situation, and we're going to apply it 2 ways: appropriately and proportionately for the situation.
Oh,
but
I love that.
Yeah, some people find out they wrote a book and they say or they wouldn't know, and then I don't know. You probably get the same thing, and then they think that you're going to come in here and pick up your book and bang them over the head. No, I say that. So how are we going to do this, Heath? And I said, well, that book that I wrote, well, I'm going to bring it in here and I'm going to literally I'm going to bring it in and I'm going to go and bang you over the head until you're blue in the face. And they go, really? And I go, no. I said, if anyone comes in here with any book or any framework and want to bang you over the head with it and make it do word for word, line by line, you got to run. Because they haven't understood what you just said from the very beginning, the context. And so, ladies and gentlemen, if you get that, someone want to bang you over here with a book or any other tool and technique and haven't understood the context, you got to ask yourself, are you going to be up for a massive bill and get no transformation? Or you better just say, hey, buddy, let's just assess the situation. So that's the first point. And then you went on to, I like applicable. So the playing to the good things as your. So I think this is like the litmus test for wannabe leaders or current leaders is to say, are you doing these things? The good things that you're doing is, you said it's applicable, they are relevant and valuable, they're applying their strengths. But what they also understand is those two things you said, to step up or step back. So the skills that they've got, they know they're applying them to the degree that they can in that situation. And where they're not, they go, hey, I don't know. Or I'm aware of my own weaknesses. And then so we're going to pull in the resources that are stronger or better positioned to handle this. So that's a good part. So if you've got leaders out there, want to be leaders, or you're running a program right now and you're going, oh, I don't know. Hey, that's all right. But if you don't call it out and you might maybe try to fudge it, it's like, fake it till you make it to a degree. But if there comes a point, if you don't know, then there's not a weakness to put your hand up. Okay. Another thing you said, sustainable, that those are good leaders of success. And I think that ties into that 7% failure rate. Is that, then we had a guest on there a couple of weeks ago and he was talking about, when I say fail, is it talking outright failure? Or is it failure not achieving the full degree of the vision they were aiming for, or full degree of the benefits they were after? Yep.
Let me speak to that for just a minute. I want to put it in the context of change initiatives.
Yep.
85% of all change initiatives fail to achieve their primary objective. They achieve benefit, but 85% of all change initiatives fail to achieve their primary objective. So you were talking about partial success. If you're going to do something, there's got to be a primary objective.
Yeah.
And if you don't achieve that primary objective, you're wasting resources. That's got to be your focus.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And I think probably that's the part. Well, I've done a few, as probably like yourself, is that you get called into transformations. And one particular, I'll never forget it. They had a couple of, I don't want to point fingers, but the big four. There's a couple of them. And they were in the room there, and they had 120 OKRs. And they would bang on about these OKRs. And I go, so what's your vision? But we've got 120 OKRs, and we reckon we need 21 initiatives to realize this business transformation. I was like, what? I said, what's the vision? Where do you want to end up? Like, we don't have one, but we've got 120 OKRs. I said, well, you know why you don't have a vision? Because you can create 120 OKRs, and then you're going to create 21 objectives or initiatives to achieve your 100, but you're never going to get to the vision because you never defined it. Have you ever had that?
Oh, constantly. We haven't gotten into my model, but my model, so what I have is I have what I call a system and I have a framework.
Nice one. Okay.
So the framework is called the 3 Ps.
3 Ps.
And the system is called scaling smarter. And the framework gives you the structural integrity to build what it is you're trying to build without being rigid, but being durable, right? And the system teaches you how to construct the framework and apply it. So there's 2 pieces to this. So there's this, so the book basically is my book. It's like, this is the framework and this is the system, how you implement it.
Yep.
But when you get into the nuts and bolts, it's all very high level. It's got to be situational.
Yes.
So the framework is, again, I call it the 3 Ps.
Yep.
It's clarity of purpose, consistency of performance, and engagement of people.
Nice
Purpose,
one.
performance, people.
Yep.
If you don't have clarity of purpose, you have no idea where you're going or what you're doing
Yeah.
or who you should be doing it with.
Yep.
And there are 5 parts to the clarity of purpose. There's several things. This all breaks down, right? There's lots of pieces here that gives every organization the flexibility to build their own model with integrity and structural resilience. Resilience is a big word for me because every business is constantly facing change.
Yes.
Right? Change is the eternal conflict. Since the first caveman bartered with his neighbor products for services,
Yep.
the world has been changing. And
Constantly.
those cavemen didn't want anything to change.
Yeah.
And
they liked it. I
today,
was.
nobody wants anything to change. They want stasis.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
what I'm doing. Don't make it change.
Yep.
And the only thing that happens is change happens faster every frickin' day.
Yeah.
The eternal conflict. Every organization exists in a world where change is accelerating every day, and
Yes.
all they want is for it to stop.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like,
And it ain't going to happen. So you
Yeah.
got to be resilient.
and what's that, the oxymoron? Is it? Would that be? Yeah.
It's close. It's
Yeah.
more, I think of it more as a problem with an elegant yet non-linear solution.
Okay. Yeah. Problem non-linear. Yeah, well, this is true. Yep. That's like saying, I used to have a friend, I love it to death, would say, I don't want to be rich because I don't want to be fat. I was like, what? And I said, what? Oh, because all rich men are fat. And I was like, what? So you don't want to be rich because you think you're going to be fat. I said, oh no. So I want change, but I don't want to change. How does that work?
So let me give you something because I think you and your audience will get a kick out of this. Every time I do a public presentation, I open it I've been opening it the same way for 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Depending on the size of the audience, of course, I always start with, how many of you, generally speaking, believe people like change? And of course, the larger the audience, the more hands I'll get up. But even with 500 people, you'll get 10 hands, right? You don't get a lot of people raising their hands.
Yeah.
And then I say, how many of you, generally speaking, think people don't like change? And of course, everybody raises their hand. And I say, you're all wrong. Every one of you that's raising your hand right now is wrong. Every single human being on the planet absolutely loves change. Change is not the problem. What they hate is the change others do unto them.
Yeah.
What they love is the change they do unto others. So the secret is figuring out how you can own the change and be the one executing it, doing it unto others, not having it done unto you.
Yeah. That's
because you
secret.
can't get away from it.
Yeah.
It's not going away.
No. No how, no way, no how. Okay, so.
Hi, me again. Hope you're getting tons of actionable takeaways from this episode. Quick question. Where are you in your transformation journey? If you're an executive planning one, take our Transformation Ready scorecard to stress test your strategy. In the middle of a struggling initiative, our health check pinpoints your gaps. A practitioner wanting to level up, our delivery scorecard benchmarks you against world-class standards. All three are free. Take 2 minutes and give you a custom report. Start now at hoba.tech/scorecards.
In terms of what the industry is doing, leadership and change and transformation, we're going to get into the next question. You're dropping a little hint there about the 3 Ps and the scaling smarter. Is the leaders that are leaders, they are aware of their strengths and weaknesses. They are playing to their strengths, and when they are not, or they're probably not their repertoire or their weaknesses, they put the hand up and say, "Hey, I need some help here." So that's the current synopsis. And probably a step back from that, I think you said some of the words is that it's situational, that there is, my words there is a large school or pool of tools and techniques to pull from, but as to your words, it's situational, that you apply them for the context. So leaders or wannabe leaders, if you're going in there banging people over the heads with books, don't do that. If you've got an approach, then we're going to get into Larry's one in a minute. You might want to borrow that. Follow it, and if you've got weaknesses, then you can quite easily say, don't, maybe fake it till you make it, but it's not a weakness to put your hand up and say, look, I don't know, I need some help, I'm going to call in some resources here. Okay, and now please, your approach, you're teasing us there that there's a method that you follow, the framework, the 3 Ps, and the scaling smarter. So I'm going to ask you, so is there an approach that you follow when you go into a client? And I'm assuming this is the one. There may be tools and techniques and others, but could you walk us through how you do this? Maybe not enough that we can give some takeaways to the audience and go, oh, Larry's got it all covered here. This is what we need. Perfect for this situation we're in.
Of course I can. No modesty there. So I spent 23 years of primary research looking for the answer to the question, why do businesses fail?
Yep.
And then I developed a hypothesis. I built a construct. I ran the hypothesis through the construct for 23 years, ended up with a theory, and then I spent 6 years doing proof of concept on the theory.
Wow.
So that's
well
what
researched.
all this is. Yeah. Well researched. And what I'll say is that 70% of the book is data presented in an entertaining way. 20% of the book is, let's call it, my interpretation of how to apply the data. And 10% of it is my own personal wisdom, which I've gotten over the years through, the School of Hard Knocks, practical experience, right?
Yep.
So one of the things that came up in the 80s was a concept called corporate life cycle theory. And it's the study of how organizations age and die. And there's a half a dozen corporate theorists, and it's pretty stunning because it is so precise and so accurate and so detailed and so consistent. It's kind of hard to believe when you look at it.
Yep.
But it's just immutable. It's an immutable fact, right? We are not born as old people. We're born as babies.
Yes.
We're not born with adult teeth. We're born with baby teeth.
Yes.
We all go through the same thing as humans.
Yeah.
Every organization is made up of humans, and every organization ages in a very predictable manner. So based on that, I found some good foundational material that was grounded in what I call organizational maturity. It's not experience, or it's not expertise, it's not knowledge, it's not skill, it's firsthand direct experience. So there are 3 stages of organizational maturity: youth, adolescence, and adulthood. In youth, experience is narrow and shallow. We haven't gotten far outside our field of expertise, and we haven't gotten very deep into it. Adolescence is still narrow, but it's deep. We're well within our boundaries of knowledge and expertise, our experience, but we've got a lot of it. We've been through it a lot. We've seen a lot of how it works. Adulthood is where you broaden that experience. So now in adulthood, you have broad and deep experience.
Yep.
Youth, adolescence, and adulthood. When you start in youth, if you don't have clarity of purpose, you are wasting irreplaceable resources. Every organization has 3 resources. It's people, time, and money. If you have your people moving in different directions towards different targets, something's not being as efficient as it needs to be.
Yeah. And
Either
efficient.
you're wasting time, you're wasting money, or you're wasting people's efforts. So the beginning of the journey is you have to have clarity of purpose. Clarity of purpose involves 5 things. It's first, what is the value we deliver? Don't get any more complicated than that. Why is this valuable? What makes what we do valuable? The second is, who values it?
Who? Yep.
And don't be blindsided by industry boundaries. Don't be blindsided by that, because your competition are not your direct competitors. They're the people who would, if they don't spend money on you, where would they spend their money?
Alternatives or substitutes. Yep.
Exactly. So that's the second thing. The third thing is, how do I deliver that value? Because without delivery of value, it's useless, right?
Yep.
If I know what it is and I know you want it, now I got to find a way to get it to you in a way that's valuable to you and usable. That's the third thing. The fourth thing is what you called vision. It's when we grow up, what do we want to be? What is our goal? What is our big, hairy, audacious goal? And it has to be something bigger than any one person. This is big. This is very, very important, Heath.
Huge. Yep.
If you don't have a goal that's bigger than one person, you don't have a vision. And if you don't have a goal that's bigger than one person, you don't have a need for a company. And the fifth thing is, how do we want our organization to behave? What is our culture? What are our ethics? What are our values? And part of why that's important is because as an organization grows, it becomes more complex. As you increase complexity, you have to have rules to ensure things are properly handled. They're too complex, right?
Yep.
The more rules you have, the more time it takes to make decisions. Am I in line with the rules? Am I on the line? Am I over the line? Am I close to the line? Do I want to ask permission? Do I want to ask forgiveness? What am I supposed to do? All of that stuff takes time and energy. When you create the right kind of culture, you minimize those rules and you create an operational environment that starts with, my employees all have the same values, we all have the same culture, and we all have the same goals. So I trust my people to make the right decision. So I don't need to have rules for every single thing.
Yeah.
You know the right thing to do it, which reduces that overhead on tools. So you've got clarity of purpose. If you don't have that, you got nothing.
Starting point. Lovely. Yep.
The way you progress through youth is what I call the arc of success.
Arc of success.
ARC, the arc of success. And every organization goes through this over and over. It starts with an idea. And if the idea is successful, it creates growth. Growth creates complexity. Complexity creates the need for rules. Rules create a loss of flexibility. So what you've just done is transition from, hey, I have an idea. Think of a painter's blank canvas with no paint on it yet. And at the end, you've got this rigid structure with rules and guidelines and boundaries. And that creates a cultural change in the organization. And if you don't have people who are prepared to deal with that, you're going to lose people. One of my favorite stories is an organization I was involved with, and they had grown. They were in that process of moving. They were large. By the way, these levels of maturity have nothing to do with the number of employees or the amount of revenue. You can be $1 billion business in youth. You can be a $100,000 business in adulthood. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with industry. I've done this in politics, education, nonprofit, government, for-profit, construction, retail, everything. So
Okay.
all of that stuff doesn't matter. This is human beings trying to achieve a common goal. Okay.
Yep.
So they had just grown to the point where they were moving from youth to adolescence, and they were struggling with all these rules, right? It's the shift from more is better to better is more. In order to stop saying, I'll take all the business I can get, it's I want the right customers, right? From
Yes.
more is better to better is more. Better is what you want. Better is always better than more. You don't need more if you have. Better will always bring you more. Don't you want to work with a better company? Of
Yeah.
course you do. Don't you want to work with better people? Of course you do. Much more attractive than just somebody who does lots and lots. So they were transitioning, and there were 50 staff in the office, 550 employees company-wide, 3 locations. And the office staff rebelled and said, I've been buying my own office supplies since I've been in this company for 35 years, and I am not putting up with having to go through a purchaser. If I
Yeah.
want copy paper, I'm buying my copy paper.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about it. If you put me through those rules, I'm just going to disobey them. So there was a rebellion, and they were really, it was ugly. And I went in and I talked to them, and I said, I explained all this to them, and I told them about the arc of success. And then I said, if you don't like these rules, quit and find another job, because you are the reason these rules in place. You are the reason that this organization was successful. You are the reason it grew. You are the reason rules needed to be put in place, not because of your failure, but because of size and the ability to manage it. And if you can't deal with that, leave. Go to another small company, help them get started and grow. Otherwise, shut up and get on board and be part of the next stage of growth and success. And they all went, oh my God, he just told me to quit my job. And I said, this is your fault. This is not management's fault. If you hadn't done a good job, this wouldn't be happening. And it was over in 3 hours.
So they decided to pull their head in and go, look, this is we're on a growth curve, or we're growing, and as part of growing, we're going to go through these stages and the guardrails, and these things now become in place because we need them, because, as you just said, it's numbers. Okay.
So let me take you back to the framework, the 3 Ps. The second P is consistency of performance. Once everybody's focused on their value, their customer, how they deliver it, their long-term goals, and their culture, every decision is now made based upon, does it move us closer to that vision? Does it fulfill our mission? Does it satisfy our stakeholders? Does it hold with our behavior? So the decisions become easy. Now the next thing is getting people to work in sync. We need consistency of performance. We need to know that every time we do something, you're going to get the same result. We need our customers to know that we're dependable. When we make a commitment, we're going to fulfill it. This means no duplication of effort, no duplication of work, no wasted time. Things don't fall through the cracks. We all support each other. We're a solid wall moving together forward together.
Mm-hmm.
We have plans. They're written. They're executed. They're aligned with our purpose. That's the second. The third is engagement of people. So purpose, performance, people.
People. Okay. Third P.
If you ask 15 human resources people what engagement means, you'll get 20 answers.
Yeah. Yes.
Because they don't know.
Their
They don't
version
know what
is
it
different.
means.
Yeah.
Yeah. They all think they know what it means. It sounds good, but they don't know what it means. But let me tell you what engagement means for me and for my clients. It means you care about this business as much as I do. That's what it means. And you're valued just as much as I am. So what engagement involves is 2 things. The first is everyone has to understand their value and how they fit into the organization. Otherwise, they feel like they're doing busy work. And my favorite story about this is the receptionist, right? Everybody thinks the receptionist is a blow off, right? It's a receptionist. Who cares?
Right.
Get somebody,
Major.
get some
Yeah.
good looking gal cheap, right?
Yeah.
Or at least used to be. Maybe not so much in these days, but
Yeah.
here's the problem. That's your director of first impressions.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Who's the first person
The
that they
face.
see when they come to your company
Yeah.
or talk to? Do you really want somebody that's the cheapest, easiest to hire, least important person feeling like they're just there to answer the phone or greet people when they come in the door? That's insane.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
single person in your organization has great value. Otherwise, the machine breaks.
Yep.
And everybody needs to understand that. I don't care what you're doing. I deal with this by saying, don't give people tasks, give people roles and goals. In other words, don't tell somebody to take out the trash. Tell them to keep the office clean. Big difference,
Yes.
right?
Okay, I like that. I'm going to play
So,
that, but I'm going to play all this all back to you in case I've got it. Okay.
so,
Get,
so,
get,
so I'm going to almost done here. That piece about you're as important as anybody else in this organization creates that sense of I'm important, I'm a contributor, I'm going to take pride in what I'm doing because not only is the achievement of this goal that we all share on my shoulders, but it's on my coworker's shoulders. And the coworker who sends a work product to me and the coworker I send work product to. So now I want to know what he's doing and what she's doing. And if she needs help with something, she can say, if I need help with something, I can go to her and say, if you could do this a little different, it'd make my life easier. And she might say something like, I can't. Or she might say, hell, I've been busting my butt to do this for you. It would be so much easier if I didn't have to, right?
yeah.
So suddenly you begin to grease the skids of all the interactions that occur in the organization. That's
All the
engagement.
cogs, yeah.
The other piece is communication. And again, it's a very simple complex that's extremely complex to implement. It's creating a system where anybody that needs information knows where to go to get it, and it's there. And anybody with information to share has a mechanism to put it into the communication system and share it with all the people that it's important to. And when you are in an organization and those two things are true, I need information, I know where to get it, and it's going to be good and it's going to answer my question. Or I have information that's important and I need people to know about it and I know how to get it to them. Think about how powerful that is. That is like knock me off my feet powerful. So again, the framework, the integrity, the structural framework is clarity of purpose, consistency of performance, engagement of people. The system, right? Scaling smarter is the process of how to glue those pieces together, how to make those come into reality.
Okay, the system being, so just recap that one back there. I'm taking notes like a madman here. So the scaling smarter is the execution of the three P's.
Yep.
Okay, so I know
it's the taking that structure, the three P's structural framework, and building it inside your organization without changing your company for the better or for the worse. We're not trying to change what you do. We're trying to make what you do more effective, more sustainable, more resilient.
Hi, me again. If you're a transformation consultant or leader, here's something extra. Our fast digital transformation masterclass reveals how to cut through complexity and deliver 10x faster without blowing budgets. It's the same system we've taught to governments and unicorn startups. Watch the replay free at HOBA Tech Masterclass. Trust me, you'll want notes for this one. Now, back to the show.
I think there for the audience, what I'm picking up from that is the key component, although it did come third, is not, let's say, the order of priority or less importance, is the purpose, performance, and people, and that the people being maybe it's interwoven, it is interwoven with the whole thing, but the importance is, as particularly what I see from the business transformation, even that name is a bit misleading, is well, it's misused or multiple uses. It means different things to different people. Is that people, whether you're doing a technology implementation, replacement, enhancement, whatever you're doing with has a technology element to it, the key to your business transformation is the people part. And then that is the one that probably is the most overlooked. But I think if anything from what I'm picking up is that the 3 Ps is really stressing on the people elements. You said from the very beginning, the clarity of purpose. So if you've got that right, it's going to help with the people are well used, the 3 resources, people, their time and money. Otherwise, it's inefficient and you're wasting the time, money, and effort. Okay, so, well, that was a masterclass there. Thank you, Larry. Geez, I don't know if I could do it justice trying to repeat that back to you. I'm going to have to put it all in the show notes, that is for sure, as well as the link to the book. But in summary, so the original starting point, ladies and gentlemen, and I like that I think there's 2 parts there. You probably not, you talked that there's years of experience, years of research that has gone into that. But I think the part that maybe you might have skimmed over, but I don't want it to be lost, is that it's not just the research, it is that you're a practitioner. So this is the hands-on actual, this is someone that's in the weeds, that's done the work, as opposed
I've
to...
committed business suicide.
Yes. I think I might have done that on a couple of startups myself back in the day too.
Yeah.
So I love the concept. I think, and I'm going to have to get my hands, I'll do your trade. I'll sign a copy for your copy. The life cycle, you called it the corporate life cycle? Is it the life cycle?
Corporate life cycle theory.
The corporate life cycle theory.
Corporate life cycle theory.
Okay, dating back to somewhere in the 1980s. So this is...
It was first developed in the 80s, and then it was started to be written about and proliferated in the early 90s. It didn't really get out into the world until the 90s.
I think there's some gold there, and it's good to see there that Larry, you've picked up the baton, I would say, and now charging forward. So the 3 parts of that life cycle: youth, adolescence, and adulthood. I think that the takeaway there, the lessons for the audience is to understand, and I think what you've said is that organizations are made up of people, and then they go through this change. But what
transformation?
There we give it. It is a transformation, and of these different phases. I think what you're saying is that they've got common elements to it. You had the 5 things that you're asking, the 5 questions, maybe the value. What are we delivering? Who, number 2, who finds it of value. 3 is how are we delivering that value. The number 4 is the vision, or my word, the vision, but what do we want to be in the future? And then number 5 is how do we behave? And this is the culture. And I think, and from my perspective, which I see, it's really good to see here, it's called out, is culture is a massive part of these transformation projects that gets overlooked. They'll see consultants will come in, the business, or they were speaking a different language, the business doesn't quite understand it. The business themselves will have a little sideways conversation and go, do you understand what they're saying? And they go, no, I've got no idea. And then say, okay, look at their watch, and they'll say, well, they're going to be here for another couple of months. We'll just play nice, and when they leave, we'll just go back to how it was before. And so that is the culture, the unwritten rules, the things that aren't written down, the way they behave, why they behave that way. And you called it out up front and center. So our audience there is, if you don't listen to your culture or understand your culture, that could be the one that breaks your whole change and transformation. Okay, so those are your 5 questions. And then we went into how you, so the key part about that is independent of this framework, this methodology is applicable to any business of any size. It's not dependent on their revenue, nor people, nor industry, as you said.
Or age. Or
age, okay. I'll add that one in there. Age. And this is, I like the key point there. I'll stress this part. I'm going to quote you on it. This is the shift from moving from more is better to better is more. So if the audience, if you missed that, what that means is basically volume versus quality. Is that you want to get more customers at any price, and then they become a pain that, to maintain, support the complaints. You go, that's more is better. How about now let's go for better quality clients that maybe less headache to manage or easier to manage, less resources they take up. So it's that shift from going from, let's try go from market share, and that plays to your life cycle of the youth knows very narrow information, no depth. Adolescence moves into the narrow and depth. And when you move to adulthood, you get the broadness and the depth. And so when you are moving through these stages, first you're trying to chase everything, probably like a young buck in a bar with young girls, and he's chasing everything. You know what? I've had my fun, and maybe it's the other way around as well. And so you get, okay, and now I want to get more concentrated now and get better clients or better quality customers. Am I on the right track so far?
Absolute.
All
Want a
right.
job?
Let's do a collaboration. All right. Okay, so then we get into the second one, the consistency of performance. And I think if you were talking business process improvement, you've come down to maybe elimination. If you talk about process improvement, the 4 stages: eliminate, standardize, optimize, and automate. Eliminate. I think I said that. Eliminate, then standardize, and optimize, and automation. So you talked about the consistency. There's no duplication. It's well documented, which is a major part of good process management, is that if you cannot improve if you cannot measure it, and definitely you cannot measure it if you've never written it down. And so that's a key part. So again, being consistent in our performance. And number 3 was the people engagement part. And with your engagement, you said, and I like your definition of engagement, so I'm going to quote you on this one too, I'm going to quote you on a hell of a lot, is that you care about this business as much as I do. I think that is like that analogy. You see that the picture of like modern people or business, and it's got the boat on one end, and it's got our stakeholders at one end, and other people down the bottom of the boat digging out the water, and they go, we're in the same boat together, but the people down the bottom are digging them out the water. And so that is like saying, well, we're in the same boat at the same level, doing the same thing, going the same direction. You care about this business as much as I do. Like, man, that's leveled the playing fields. It's like, we're going in the same direction. This is not, I'm gonna beat you for your objectives at yours is going to be in a worse position because now I'm going to prioritize mine over yours. No, we'll come together and work out, prioritize, and trade-offs, etc. So nice one. Now the other part. Now, what have I missed? The tasks are like, if you want to get
communication.
Things, is it or the culture part? Am I missing 2 things?
Well, there's the communication. It's that sense of value and the communication, the ability to get information and to deliver information.
Yeah. So actually, there's a part just before that one I say about how don't give them tasks, give them roles and
it's
goals.
Roles and goals, not tasks.
Yeah, I love that. That's great because that plays into the culture part, which you're playing. Like, ladies and gentlemen, if you're missing the culture part, you're probably shooting yourself in the foot here. Culture is a major part. Okay, so you don't give them tasks, give them roles and goals. And so it's basically saying you've got these boundaries that to work within, empowered, trust, go and do it. You know what to do. Work within those boundaries, as opposed to micromanaging this activity. You're only going to get, what you measure is what you're going to get. So you're going to get nothing else other than that. Okay, and then the communication you said is that create a system where they know where to get the information, they know it's good information, and then if they've got something to contribute to, then they know how to provide to it. So the knowledge base then is like enriched and accessible and can be updated at any time. Like, lovely, great stuff. Okay, and then we got to the system was about the implementation. All right, so we covered a lot there.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much there, Larry. Now, the third part of now this we just said, like, from the very beginning, which Larry kicked off. He said, how many years of research? There's a few years of research that's gone into here that Larry, that one has done himself. Also, the corporate life cycle going back into the 80s, originally developed. So we're talking half a century here. So, and then this is the actual implementation. So you've got this years of experience of research and a practitioner doing in the weeds, doing the stuff, doing delivery. If you could do it all again, what would you do differently?
You're not going to like my answer.
You'll be a fisherman?
I wouldn't do anything different.
Nice one.
I wouldn't do
Nice one.
anything different. I have no desire to live a life other than the life I'm living. I wouldn't change a thing. My competitive advantage is that I was working when I was 8 years old in a business that supported me. I developed a work ethic. I learned how to balance play, work, and education.
Yep.
And I have about 10 to 15 years of firsthand experience, more than every single human being my age, which gives me an incredible competitive advantage.
Yeah.
Think about that. 10 to 15 years of firsthand experience in a leadership role at an organization where you're the owner, and the right kind of mentorship and support. My failures have been incredibly valuable lessons. I haven't
Yep.
screwed up twice the same way yet.
Same way. Yep.
Hope I never will. The best days of my life are the days when I humiliated myself or embarrassed myself, because they were the most powerful learning experiences. I learned my
Yeah.
weaknesses. I learned my blind spots. I've been with, I met my wife on Wednesday, July 23rd, 1980. She and I have been together since then. We went out to dinner on that Friday. So we were one day apart. We went out to dinner that Friday, and literally she never left. She stayed
Wow.
Friday night, she stayed Saturday night, and Sunday she moved in. We got married 2 years later. We've been together for 45 years.
Congratulations.
Why would I change anything?
Yeah.
I work when I want. I live where I want. I drink what I want. I eat what I want. I play when I want. And I get to teach people how to do this. I'm not in this for money anymore. This is not about money
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
This is about changing the way the world works.
Love it.
Last interruption. Promise. If you're thinking, this is great, but how do I automate it? Meet HOBA Pro. It's our new software that turns our framework into a step-by-step platform so you can run transformations faster and with way less chaos. Hundreds of teams are already using it, including the UK Home Office. See how it works with a quick demo at app.hoba.tech. Now back to your regularly scheduled podcast.
I think that part where it's not about money, it is, and I've always learned that maybe some time ago, income follows assets. And you build the asset, and then it will come. And if you're lucky, it has impact, and others find it of value, and so on, so on, so on. But I love what you said, is that there's no mistakes. It's all lessons, essentially. I like the work, your plan, and the education, the work, found out the balance. I think that's you have a very, I was going to say colourful, but very impressive background. And for others to look at Larry's profile on LinkedIn, you'll see he's been there, done that. He's got the shirt, he's got the badge. And so to hear what Larry just said there is like, it's no regrets. It's all lessons and humbling ones. I've been in those situations. Is that those are, and as you said, those are the ones where you maybe not the most enjoyable at the time, but it's probably the most ones where you're going to learn the most and grow the most.
It's certainly valuable.
No, fantastic. So, Larry, we'll wrap it up there. But I want to you're in the south of France, which is not too far from where I am. I'll get your details after here, and I will send you a copy. If you do me a favor and send me a copy. Oh, I love to.
Absolutely.
I would love to read that book.
Let me share 2 things with you before you sign off.
Yep.
You alluded to it a little bit in your summary there. The phrase that I live by, or that I try to get my clients to understand, is that profit without purpose is pointless.
Profit without purpose is pointless. Yep. It's pointless for sure. Yeah,
and the other thing that I want to say, and this links directly to consistency of performance, and I write about all this stuff on my blog. I'm all over the internet, so there's a lot of information out there. But there's a secret that big business has that most small and medium businesses either won't do or don't do. And it's so important. It's just so critically important. And getting them to understand how important it is and getting them to make the time to do it is so hard. And I understand it doesn't change the value, right?
Yeah.
Planning.
Yeah.
You have to plan. You have to look into the future. You have to think with critical thinking. You have to be strategic, and you have to document your plans and execute them and learn from them. That is the secret of big business. That's what they do. They plan forever, and then they measure, they study, they adjust, they react, and that's how they are successful. And you can do that as a small to medium business as well.
Awesome. There was Larry was just dropping the final piece of gold there, ladies and gentlemen. The big secret of big business for small businesses is planning. This is the who would say that? Not Jim Rohn. Expect to plan to plan, or something along those lines. Prepare to plan, expect to plan, and there's one other one all about realizing planning from planning. Okay, so Larry, I'll put in the show notes. Thank you. I'll put in the show notes there the how to get a hold of you, how to get a copy down where the book is listed, how to get the hands on a copy of that. How to get in touch with you with your both LinkedIn and the company. And if you've got any talks coming up, drop me the link and I'll put that there, any webinars. You're all over the internet, so I'm assuming on your website it's got the blogs there. So we'll give that to the audience. So Larry, thank you again for joining all the way from Bordeaux, France. You must be now enjoying the good summer, that the European summer, as opposed to the UK is still, we're into winter now. We had a week of sun and that's it. Oh, you're on the wine already. Oh, I got my cup of coffee here, bro.
It's Bordeaux.
Oh, yes, when I was there, we did have some of that. Yeah, it's a good drop, but I'm from New Zealand, so they got a good drop too. There's always a challenge between those two with the wines. But Larry, thank you very much. I'll ping you afterwards, and we'll get those details in exchange, and we'll get those books happening.
Merci beaucoup, Heath. Thank you.
Au revoir.
I really appreciate your questions. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for your time, and thank you for dropping the gold.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.